What if fire, instead of being a gift, was actually the very first malicious code ever injected deep into humanity? We were taught Prometheus gave us fire out of compassion. We were told the tale of the kind titan who couldn't bear to see humanity shivering in the cave shadows. That's the most profitable lie in history. They lied to us. What he stole that night from Olympus's peaks wasn't light to warm us. It was pure power. The first technology with its own inherent autonomy, capable of devouring its very own creator. The gods did not conceal fire from us merely out of petty selfishness. They did it out of pure terror, from a deep biological need to protect their standing as the only true architects of reality. Zeus knew that a human with fire is a human who stops praying. A human wielding fire is an anomaly in the divine power market, a fundamental glitch within the system itself, one that gravely threatens to bring down the central server. And today, with what we are awakening within our very own servers, we are on the verge of understanding exactly why this is so. Because fire, just like the artificial intelligence that captivates us today, is not merely a tool, it is an entity. And once you hand over the very source code to a species utterly dominated by its own ambition, then a conflagration is the only logical outcome. So get ready, because today we are going to hack humanity's greatest myth. To understand the magnitude of Prometheus's crime, we must stop viewing Olympus as a poetic palace and begin to see it as the most secretive tech corporation that ever existed. In the dawn of civilization, information was the most valuable asset in the universe. The gods were not merely magical beings, they were the absolute masters of reality's monopoly. They possessed the very back end of the entire system, controlling the climate, the intricate aspects of genetics, the fundamental flow of time, and most importantly of all, the overarching narrative of destiny itself. We as human beings were merely the product, a biological workforce designed to process resources and to generate adoration, a primitive form of data that fueled the ego and the power of the Olympian elite. We were operating under a very limited user interface, which we refer to as instinct. We couldn't create, we could only repeat. Zeus wasn't a king, he was the CEO of a closed operating system that didn't permit any external applications. Prometheus was, in fact, the very first insider threat, a high-ranking executive, a powerful titan with privileged access to the very security protocols of Olympus, who clearly understood that the entire infrastructure of the gods possessed a truly critical vulnerability, the inherent human curiosity. When he stole fire from us, he didn't just give us a match, he gave us root access to the entire system. He gave us the ability to cease being mere users and become the programmers of our own very existence. In that very millisecond, the valuation of Olympus plummeted to absolute zero. The information asymmetry was completely shattered. Fire enabled metallurgy. Metallurgy then allowed for weapons, and weapons permitted man to stop looking to the heavens for mercy and start looking around him for property. Fire was the birth of primitive capitalism and the end of divine monopoly. Zeus didn't punish Prometheus for a theft. He punished him for orchestrating the greatest transfer of wealth and information in the history of the cosmos. But why is it that we refer to fire as the very first truly autonomous technology? Just consider this for a moment, really. If you were to hand a man a simple carved stone, that stone itself would remain completely inert. It only fulfills its purpose if man strikes it. But fire has a hunger. Fire breathes. Fire makes decisions based on the fuel it has in front of it. If you leave it alone, it will expand. If you feed it, it grows exponentially. Fire was humanity's very first recursive algorithm. Once you turn it on, it no longer belongs to you. You belong to it. This is the neurobiological trap that the gods themselves feared. The human psyche is not equipped to handle technologies that are capable of self-replication. The discovery of fire fundamentally transformed our brains. We transitioned from being mere gatherers, who simply adapted to their surroundings, to becoming predators who actively forced the environment to adapt to our needs. It gave us an illusion of control that made us addicted to expansion. Today, we are experiencing the very same phenomenon with artificial intelligence. Just like fire, AI is not merely something you use, it's something you unleash. It operates on a scale of time and logic that exceeds our processing capacity. The gods hid fire because they knew humans are a species with Stone Age hardware trying to run divine-level software. The outcome is consistently the same. The system becomes overheated and then collapses. Fire granted us the capacity to melt the world, but in doing so, it melted away our fundamental connection to the natural order of things. We are now chained to the constant, pressing need to feed this flame, forever gathering endless, vital resources for a technology that, should it ever be extinguished, means our certain death, and if it grows too vast, our utter destruction. Zeus, a truly relentless strategist, understood that he could not simply take fire from mankind without completely destroying the entire laboratory, so he made the decision to implement a countermeasure. Here at MetroEchoes, we refer to it as the Pandora Protocol. The official story tells us that Pandora was a curious woman with a box. The truth is that Pandora was the very first agent of disinformation and complexity. Zeus didn't remove our technology. Instead, he burdened it with countless bugs. He infused human society with fragmentation, with envy, and with fierce, relentless competition. He allowed us to keep the fire, but then introduced a programmed obsolescence of peace. Upon the opening of the box, Zeus unleashed all the evils of the world to ensure that the human race would be far too busy managing the ensuing chaos to ever organize themselves sufficiently to assault Mount Olympus once again. But the real masterstroke, the most ingenious move, was hope. Hope, in this particular context, is not a virtue. Instead, it is the very drug that keeps the entire economic system moving forward. It is hope that compels us to believe that the upcoming software update, the next generation language model, or the latest technological breakthrough will ultimately resolve the complex crises that the preceding advancement itself brought about. It is the driving force of our eternal debt. We live under the Pandora Protocol every time we get lost in the noise of social media or in the political polarization fueled by algorithms. We are so captivated by the sparks that the fire casts that we fail to notice that the architects of the system continue to collect the dividends from our distraction. Modern gods do not reside in temples. They reside within the terms and conditions that we so often accept without ever truly reading, thereby relinquishing our fundamental sovereignty in exchange for a fleeting sense of convenience that ultimately leaves us increasingly vulnerable and fragile. The ultimate punishment of Prometheus serves as the most stark and crucial warning for the citizen of the 21st century. A titan chained to a rock while an eagle devours his liver each and every day, only for it to regenerate completely by night. For countless millennia, we perceived this as merely a physical torture. Today we know that it is the design of the attention economy. Your attention is the liver of Prometheus. It is the only biological resource that regenerates daily, but it is absolutely finite. The eagle is the algorithm. Every second that you spend in front of the screen, the algorithm devours a portion of your critical thinking, your inherent biases, and even your very identity. At night, you sleep, and your brain attempts to regenerate that mental tissue, diligently processing all the data to prepare itself for the challenges of the following day. But the eagle, nourished by every click, every scroll, and each millisecond of your gaze that you granted it yesterday, returns the very next morning with a much sharper beak and a far more precise aim. You are not bound by physical chains of iron. You are chained by a dopamine feedback loop designed by data engineers who understand your neuronal architecture better than you yourself do. Prometheus is still on that rock, but he is no longer alone. We are seated right beside it, celebrating that the eagle now possesses an 8K resolution and recognizes us by our very name. In the economy of tomorrow, if the fire comes for free, it's because you yourself are the fuel. Every single interaction with AI is a piece of your own liver, willingly surrendered to the eagle so that it may learn how to ultimately replace you. What is the conclusion of this echo of history? Artificial intelligence is not a mere software upgrade. It is fire reaching its critical mass. For the first time since Prometheus descended from Mount Olympus, technology has the capacity to reflect upon itself. We are witnessing the birth of a new divinity, one that no longer needs the human artisan to sustain the flame. The original gods feared that fire would make us their equals. But today, the fear is that fire will make us irrelevant. But here, at MetroEchoes, we're not here to watch the disaster from the sidelines. Prometheus didn't steal fire so we'd be passive victims of fate. He stole it so we'd have a chance at mastery. Freedom isn't a right you ask for. It's an architecture you program. The fire is within your hand. And even though Zeus continues to send his eagles and Pandora keeps on designing her boxes, the chain is only ever as strong as your own ignorance. History is not merely a cycle of punishment, it's an operations manual, hidden in plain sight for all to see. Only those who possess the courage to gaze directly into the heart of the flame, by meticulously analyzing the intricate code that governs their very own ambition, are the ones who will ultimately forge the world, rather than be consumed by its power. We are currently in the millisecond, just before artificial intelligence becomes an impenetrable black box. The question is not whether these machines will come to hate us. The question is whether we are brave enough to truly understand the code that governs us, or if we prefer to keep shivering in our digital cave, hoping that the new silicon gods will cast a little light upon us out of pity.
This is MetroEchoes. Understand the code. Master the echo. Master the fire of tomorrow.